formal title, if you could tell us, please.
ICWA coordinator.
Very good. Would you be the designated qualified expert from the Village of Buckland as well as the coordinator?
Yes.
Thank you for confirming that.
She was doing pretty well. She was attending some summer camps. She was struggling behaviorally with some of the summer camps. She had some evaluations for autism, but they didn't think that it was autism. And they were really working on getting her medication in the right spot to address some of the behavioral issues she was having. I have not heard of any increased concerns from the foster parents since my last meeting with them. And I believe she's doing well in getting ready for the school year to start. From talking with the worker today that she just completed a family trip up north and just working on getting ready for school and getting into that swing of things.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Thomas, I believe we have most of or all of you have testimony from your witnesses. Is that accurate?
Yes, Shadow. The only thing, if the court would like, Ms. Beach did provide a brief memo about any updates since our last hearing. I don't know if it's necessary, if fellow counsel would just stipulate to the admission of the report. It really just highlights the contact efforts that Ms. Beach put forward to communicate with Ms. Collier and her attorney.
Yeah, I have no objection to that being here.
No objection.
Very well. The court accepts the stipulation and will receive the court report into the record. It contains the attachments of the case services plan, of course, from Ms. Collier, and an email thread consistent with Ms. Thomas's presentation. All right. I believe we had all testimony as well from you, Ms. Sador, is that right?
No, we had, I'm not sure, we had not finished with the ICWA representative, so we had one witness testify.
Did you have any witnesses other than the ICWA witness?
I may not, I just need to hear from the ICWA witness to know for sure. If so, it would be one witness and that's it.
All right. Well, the ICWA coordinator and the expert would have to make a recommendation as to whether or not termination would serve the best interest of the child. So I would prefer that the coordinator be able to listen to all witness testimony before making that determination. So I prefer if your witnesses went first. Do you have anyone else you'd like us to hear from?
I'm not sure she's present via Zoom. The witness would be Rebecca Sullivan, but I guess since we have admitted her updated case services, not case services, but her updated information within the report, if that can be taken into consideration in terms of what's going on. No one has an objection. That was mainly what I wanted to ask her about is Carla's current status with all of the things, housing, therapy, job, health, mental health, all those things. So I would ask to admit that specifically.
Do you have an exhibit in addition to the court report? Is that what you're saying? Or
it's part, she put it in as part of the Ashley Beach's report.
part of the email exchange?
Yes, there's one from dated July 3rd from Ms. Sullivan. I have another copy. It's got something on the back, but if Your Honor needs it, I can mark that and have it.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that is. I recall that one from our last hearing, but there's also an update from Ms. Sullivan within the email exchange that is provided on page 10 of the report, the updated memo that Ms. Beach we just submitted. I believe that would be, is that the same? Is that this one?
So let me review what I have. I have a one-page MDHHS 5964 cover letter followed by the case services plan agency agreement from Ms. Collier, and then an email chain that's 5 pages. So I also have the DHS 69 documenting changeover from Ms. Madrid and Ms. Beach, but that's it for what I have. So
Correct. It should be, it is the same email on
We
page
hear about her summer struggles, progress, and how she's preparing for school.
5 of that. Well, the email threads is at page 5. It states, it starts the page before I sent it to Ms. Beach, and it's from Rebecca Sullivan. It says, as for Carla, I wanted to update you, and then the second page has the updates from her. And that what from her was dated July 3rd of this year.
all right, but the email reflects Tuesday, August 12th.
Correct. I'm just clarifying when the email was sent to me was July 3rd. So.
Well, that's not documented really on this page.
Well, I'm happy to admit that I'd mark and admit the one page when I have that is the original email.
Doesn't matter to me. I just wanted to clarify what I had. Are you moving to, for the omission of that?
Yes.
separate exhibit? I'm sorry?
Sure, yes, I can just admit that one. Is respondents A or one, whichever you need to do.
Any objections?
I have no objection, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Tiffany, would you mind passing that up? Well, we've received this. His response exhibit A. All right, I do not have anyone under Rebecca Sullivan logged into the Zoom meeting. So I just would like you to confirm one more time, Ms. Sidor, do you have any additional witness testimony for today? No. All right, so that takes us to Ms. Frederica Gavin. I think you'll probably have some questions for this person, Ms. Thomas, if I had to speculate. Ms. Gavin, and in your capacity as the expert in this case, I'd like you to have you sworn as a witness. Do you have any reason to object to being sworn?
No.
Deputy, swearing Ms. Frederica Gavin, please.
Please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Ms. Gavin, before we subject you to questions, do you have any comments about the case you'd like to make today?
No.
Questions, Ms. Thomas?
Okay. Good morning to you, Ms. Gavin. Thank you for joining us. Ms. Gavin, are you a member of the native Buckland, the native village of, I'm so sorry.
Native
Ms.
Village of
Gavin.
Buckland.
What is your affiliation? Are you affiliated with a tribe?
I am.
And
I'm a
what
tribal
tribe are you?
member.
I'm sorry, what tribe are you affiliated with?
Native Village of Buckland.
And how long have you been a member of that tribe?
About 30 years.
And in your tribe, are you recognized as someone who is knowledgeable in tribal customs?
Yes.
And do you believe that you're knowledgeable as to how those tribal customs pertain to family organization and childbearing practices?
Yes.
And Ms. Gavin, have you served as an ICWA coordinator in the past?
No.
Were there any requirements for you to be hired or appointed as an ICWA coordinator for the tribe?
The requirements were just experience.
Can you elaborate a little bit more about what experience?
Experience in working with OCS and understanding the tribal membership process and working with tribal members.
Ms. Gavin, you just used an acronym OCS. Can you tell us what that stands for?
I'm sorry, Office of Children's Services.
And does that mean that you would have experience in working with children who are in foster care?
When we have to deal with OCS and they come to our village, we're present when they have to visit families and be a representative of the tribe and just more on the protection side of the tribal member.
Thank you. Have you had any training related to being the designated ICWA coordinator for the tribe?
No,
And how long have you served as the ICWA coordinator?
it's only been a month.
Okay. Ms. Gavin, my notes indicate that you've also participated in these proceedings at the very beginning, which would have been about 2 years ago. Do you have any recollection of that?
A little bit. At that time, I was the tribal administrator.
Okay. And how does your role differ now as the ICWA coordinator from the tribal administrator?
I'm more involved with tribal members.
Okay. Have you had the opportunity to review the case file related to the subject minor?
Yes.
And in your opinion, do you believe that continued custody of the child or returned custody of the child to the respondent parent, Ms. Carla Collier, would result in the child being seriously, emotionally, or physically damaged?
And I'm sorry, I'm gonna object. She hasn't had her qualified as an expert. I'm not objecting that she would be an expert, but I would ask you to qualify her before you ask her.
I don't think that it's on the department
Each side battles to control what evidence the judge will allow into the record.
to qualify the tribal expert. If the tribe has produced an expert that meets their expectations of expertise as it relates to their tribe and their
I wasn't
customs.
clear from her testimony if I understand the question was asked and a yes was given. I just want to clarify for my client, doing my job, to make sure that she's allowed to give expert testimony at this point. So.
Do you have any objections to her being the expert for the tribe?
If I could, before that question is asked, yes, if I could hear her on some questions about what she's reviewed before she makes that opinion.
Objection?
Oh, Your Honor, just brief, I don't have an objection to that at all. I just want to briefly highlight that the applicable statute is MCL 712B.17 subsection 1, in which there are two categories of individuals, and it is providing an order of preference as who can testify as a qualified expert witness. The first definition is a member of the Indian Child's Tribe or witness approved by the Indian Child's Tribe, who is recognized by the tribal community as knowledgeable in tribal customs and how the tribal customs pertain to family organization and child rearing practices. And then second, in order of preference would be a person with knowledge, skill, experience, training, or education who can speak to the Indian Child's Tribe and its customs and how the tribal customs pertain to family organization and child rearing practices. And so I believe that my hope was that the court would recognize that Ms. Gavin is a member of the Indian Child's Tribe, and as a member for 30 years would be recognized and appointed as an ICWA coordinator, would be recognized by the tribal community as knowledgeable in tribal customs and how they pertain to family systems and child rearing practices.
All right, thank you for that guidance specifically. So I maintain then, Ms. Sador, that this is a person who has been offered up by the tribe as their expert, and the court will certainly recognize that. I think at this point, your request of voir dire would be better suited to cross-examination.
Ms. Gavin, with Ms. Sador's commentary in mind, though, I think it is a good question to ask. When you reviewed the case file, in your case file, what did you read? What types of documents?
I reviewed the latest status of the child, that she's still in foster care, and read upon the medical section and also the progress of mom.
I'm sorry, the what? I didn't hear that last part.
Progress of mom, is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, and did you have an opportunity to review any prior court reports or documents pertaining to the family over the last 2 years?
I didn't go that far.
Okay. All right. Do you believe that you've reviewed enough information from the case file that you are ready to make a recommendation about the child's needs as relates to tribal expectations?
I believe I've read enough.
Okay, and based on your review of the record that you've had opportunity to look at, do you believe that if the court were to return the child to Ms. Collier, that it would result in serious emotional or physical damage to the child?
Yes.
And can you briefly elaborate as to why that would be your opinion at this time?
From the reports that I read, housing is not stable, And from the medical standpoint, she needs to be taken care of through with her medication and all that.
And currently, I guess from the tribe's perspective, how long would you anticipate a parent living in one place, even if it's just one general location, to make a determination if that person is now having stable housing or a stable life?
I would believe about 6 months.
Okay. What other elements of stability would you, or did you consider?
On the medical side, I believe that she needs more participation in the doctor visits and any kind of special needs programs.
Can we just clarify when she says she needs, who is she referring to? It's the child, the mother, it's unclear.
Ms.
Mom,
Gavin, are you? So Ms. Gavin, I just want to follow up on that. In your testimony is that mom's medical attention needs to be addressed, or mom's medical needs need to be addressed, or that the child's medical needs need to be addressed consistently, and mom needs to be more active in that participation.
mom needs to be more active.
The judge swears her in, and the court begins probing her background and experience.
Based on tribal customs and child rearing practices, why does, or how does instability, I guess, translate to tribal practices? And why is it important that this child have that stability?
Repeat that again.
Through the tribal lens, why would it be important for the child to have stability and have ongoing medical treatment and ensuring that the caregiver is following through with those things? What tribal customs or child rearing practices does that speak to? Can you make that connection for us?
In our village, we all take care of each other's, and I don't know very much about city life, and taking care of a child means taking the responsibility to make sure things are taken care of, medical, nurturing. That's our belief.
And does the tribe value parenting that presents information in a way that's child appropriate and doesn't instill fear, or I'll just stop there. It doesn't instill fear in the child?
I'm not understanding you.
Based on tribal values, does the tribe believe that parents should raise their children in a way that promotes safety rather than fear?
Safety would be our concern.
Okay. And what are some values that the tribe has to ensure children are safe?
In our community, we are really small, and like we all take care of each other's. We see something wrong, we call. We're so close knit, we call parents to notify of something going on. I don't know how else to explain that.
Does the tribe value kindness and gentleness in parenting?
Yes.
Does it value honesty?
Yes.
Does it value consistency?
Yes.
Other than mom's, what you've seen as mom's in stable housing, are there any other concerns that you believe would pose a risk to the child's emotional state or her physical state?
I don't have no other comment.
And at this point in time, do you think that it would be in the child's best interest for the mother's rights to be terminated and for her to be adopted and potentially by her current foster care givers?
From the record of participation that I read, I believe that she is in a better place and that the attention that she's receiving emotionally, medically, I would say yes.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Gavin. I don't have any further questions for you, but if you have other attorneys will, okay? Thank you.
Ms. Moore? I don't know.
I'd like you to go next.
Okay, that's fine. Hello, Ms. Gavin.
Hello.
I'm the attorney for Carla Collier in this matter. Can you please clarify the dates of the updates that you said you read before coming to your conclusions? Was it just one report and what date that was reported?
I kind of browsed through the whole file just here and there, and then the last comments of participation. I don't have the file in front of me right now.
Okay, who gave you the file that you were reviewing?
It was in the file where the previous ICWA coordinator kept cases.
Okay, can you tell me if you read the original petition?
You mean the records from the beginning of the case?
The original petition to remove the child initially, yes.
When the case first started as the administrator, I reviewed that.
Okay, have you reviewed the amended petition supplementing that?
I believe I did.
Are you sure if you did or if you didn't?
I'm not sure.
All right. So are you aware of what the reason was for the child being removed? What the allegations were?
Legal rules are cited, objections fly, and the judge makes a crucial ruling.
Yes.
And what were those?
Lack of housing, the medical instability.
And that's it?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know when the child was removed from her mother's care?
I would have to look at that file.
Do you know approximately how long it has been since the child has been removed from her mother's care?
I believe a couple of years.
Do you have nothing more substantial than that? A couple of years
No.
is the best guess? Do you know when mother's rights to visit with her child were suspended by the court?
No.
Okay, you testified that mom needs to be more participating in the child's medical care and things like that, correct?
Yes.
Would it change your opinion if you knew that she wasn't allowed to participate in those things with her child at this time due to the court?
Yes.
Okay, how would that affect your opinion?
Well, if I didn't have very much time to review it, I'm sorry. But if she were participating and her rights to see the child, that would change my view.
Okay. Do you know where Carla Collier, mom, where she lives at currently? What state?
No,
So if you learned that Carla Collier is currently living in Alaska and has been living in Alaska for the past several months, would that change your opinion about where the child would be best?
I don't know. I can't answer that.
Okay. If you knew that Ms. Collier was in a place where she could let the child visit with native tribes of Alaska, including possibly the village of Buckland, but also in general in the Alaska area versus here in Michigan, would that change your opinion about where is best for the child?
If there was documentation stating that she was participating with the child, I believe so.
And do you know where the child is living now, other than with foster parents? Do you actually know anything about her current placement?
I have a little idea, but I can't say the state right now or
Okay. So you don't know what state they're in?
without looking at the file, I can't say that.
Okay. Do you know how much or if any interaction has gone on from the tribe in Buckland or from Mr. Washington, Joe Washington, who was previously involved in the case regarding any kind of cultural sharing and things like that with the child and her foster family?
I don't know.
When you say that the medical needs of the child are important for the mother to be involved in, which medical needs specifically are those?
The seizure disorder, and well checkups is my opinion.
Are you aware that mom, Ms. Collier, now has been living in the same apartment in Alaska since at least 5 months ago, if not before that?
I wasn't aware.
Okay, does that change your opinion?
My opinion is that she needs to be involved with the child.
Right, but I just asked you that you said that it would be different if you knew that she wasn't allowed to be directly involved with her child by the court, correct? I guess my question to you is, if mom is not allowed to visit the child, to call the child, to have any video conferencing with the child, and mom does not live in the same city as the child in the foster family, does that change your opinion about mom's behavior that caused you to say that you think it's in the child's best interest to keep her away?
I don't want to answer that because I need to see the reasons why she was not allowed.
You don't know the reasons why the court suspended her parenting time, is that what you're saying?
Yes,
Okay, are you aware of, just one moment. Do you know the child's biological father?
I read the name.
Is he also a member of your tribe?
No,
How is Uta then a member of your tribe?
from descendancy.
Through which line, mom or dad?
Dad,
Does he have direct ties to the village of Buckland?
descendancy. He's eligible to enroll.
Okay, have you ever spoken with him before?
No,
Are you aware that he gave up his parental rights voluntarily?
She explains concerns about instability, housing, and the mother's medical follow-through.
No, Your Honor, no further questions.
Okay, thank you for your time and your testimony, Ms. Gavin. Did you have anybody else you wished us to hear from by way of rebuttal witnesses or anything else, Ms. Thomas?
Not this time, Your Honor.
Ms. Sedor? Mr. Howard?
No, Your Honor.
Comments in closing, beginning with Ms. Thomas?
Your Honor, I would actually request the court to accept closing by written statement, given the nature of the case with all of the equal requirements. If we were there, I'm happy to do it verbally. I just feel that it would be better suited for the record if we were able to set closing in writing.
Ms. Sador, would you prefer to give us your closing orally today or by in writing?
I have no objection to in writing. That's fine. It's a long couple of days of testimony.
Mr. Howitt?
Your Honor, I'd be in favor of submitting in writing as well.
Very well. How long would you like in order to complete that assignment, Ms. Thomas?
And I think it'd be reasonable to request our arguments be filed within 7 days. I could do that.
Mr. Howitt?
I would just ask by the end of next week, so this.
Well, let's round it off and say by August 31st. I'm sorry, file it as soon as September 1st. So that's on Monday. So closings, I would like them by September 1st.
And then, Your Honor, would you then rule via writing, or would you have us back in court? I don't know if there's another review date we have to set or what's.
I suppose some of that will depend on what I receive in closings. So what I would be inclined to do is I'm going to set another review just to keep the case on track, regardless of what happens moving forward. So that we're able to make sure that the case stays active. I'm looking at Monday, November 17th at 1:30 p.m. And I think there's a time change for you, Ms. Gavin, but that would be 1:30 our time. All right. All prior orders will remain in full force and effect pending the reception of those results. You would also be inclined to issue a review order based on the information that I've received today. Any objections to that?
No, Your Honor.
All right, very well. So the court will take the information I have here under advisement. I'll cut a review order, permanency planning order, and have that to you relatively quickly. And that will also document our next review and permanency planning hearing November 17th at 1:30 p.m. Unless there's any questions, that's all for today.
Just one more request on behalf of Carla Collier. Would she be able to have telephone contact with her daughter at all?
Ms. Thomas? There was a suspension of parenting time issued at or around the time the petition for termination of parental rights was filed. Generally speaking, I would be inclined to extend that unless you have any opinion that would be different than that. Mr. Howard?
No, Your Honor, I would wait until the conclusion of the trial before the changes made.
Ms. Thomas, any other comments?
Your Honor, I wanted to ensure that the child was still in therapy should the court rule otherwise. But at this time, this court had ordered the department to file that termination petition based on mom's lack of engagement and lack of progress. We've also alleged that she's abandoned the child. I think that adding any contact would further confuse the child and cause some emotional and psychological harm. However, if the court is going to allow that contact, we would just ask it be dependent on the child's therapist recommendations.
Just to briefly review the file on those points, the court received the file back from Judge Costello at the end of 2024, at which time parenting time was essentially at the discretion of the departments. At the first hearing in January of 2025, Ms. Collier did not appear. There had been no progress made on services. She had not had contact with the child, and the department was ordered to commence the petition to terminate parental rights. And as a result of that, actually, in January, she did have supervised contact allowed by court order. And the petition was filed March 21st, 2025. Wojciech Collier was unable to be located. We were even looking at an order for alternative services at that point, continuing the absence from services, contact with the department, as well as from the child's life. We had, of course, the appearance of Ms. Sador, Carla Collier back again in April. So based on the history of the disappearance of the parent, disengagement with the department, and the pending termination petition, as well as the historical and current challenges and behaviors that the child is experiencing, I can't find that it would serve her best interests to allow parenting time despite the directives generally to suspend pending resolution on.
Tribal values guide the final call on termination and adoption today. The witness stresses safety, stability, and kindness before giving her decisive opinion.